everyone, it's Tara. Today I'll be doing the Briggs book tag. This tag was created by Jade at Jaded Reader. Thank you, Jade, for tagging me in it, and thank you for creating this tag because it's honestly the coolest tag I've ever seen. The tag is based on the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which is a fancy personality test that determines you as one of 16 personalities based on a combination of 4 different personality qualities. Those 4 qualities are introverted or extroverted, intuitive or sensing, thinking or feeling, and judging or perceiving. I've taken the test myself many times over many years, and I'm always INTJ, which is introverted, intuitive, thinking, and judging. INTJs are known as the masterminds. We are the imaginative and strategic thinkers who always have a plan for everything, and we also tend to be the villains in stories, so that explains a lot about my life. If you want to know more about the MBTI or take the test yourself to find out what personality you are, just go to 16personalities.com. I'll link that down below for you. The way this tag works is you have a question for each of your 4 qualities and then a final question for your personality as a whole. So it ends up being different questions for almost everyone who does this tag, which is just brilliant. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1, introvert. You can be outgoing, but you need to recharge with some calming solitude. Where is your favorite place to read and unwind, and why is this oasis where you choose to go? That would have to be my couch. I'm kind of stuck there now that I have a child because I can only read when he's sleeping at nap time or bedtime, so the couch is where I end up. But even before he was born, the couch was always kind of my spot. It has all the comforts of home. I have tea and snacks, I can wear my jammies, I can bundle up in a blanket, I usually have cats cuddled up with me, and just solitude. Solitude is important. I'm not comfortable without solitude. My ideal oasis would be a warm and rainy summer's afternoon with the windows open so I could hear the rain and hopefully some thunder, cuddled up on the couch with a cup of tea and some cats and a really good book and hours and hours and hours to read. That never happens anymore, but I take what I can get. Number 2, intuition. Some books are meant to be understood and others are meant to be explored. What book or character stands for an idea that is deeply meaningful to you? I thought long and hard about this one, and I have to go with the character of Cinder from the book Cinder by Marissa Meyer. The book is a sci-fi retelling of Cinderella, and the character of Cinder is a cyborg in a world which has a very deep prejudice against cyborgs. They don't view cyborgs as humans, they think they are inferior, and they don't even have the same rights as humans. At the start of the series, Cinder has a lot of insecurity about being a cyborg, and she deals with some self-loathing because of what she's been conditioned to think about herself and what she is. But as the series goes on, Cinder gets more and more comfortable and accepting of what she is, and by the end of the series she fully embraces her cyborgness, and she stops trying to hide her cyborg parts, and she starts using her cyborg abilities more often and more confidently. I am fortunate enough to never have been a victim of extreme discrimination, but I have dealt with insecurity, I've dealt with bullying, I've dealt with feeling worthless because of the way that other people have treated me. I spent years scared to be myself because the things that I liked or thought or felt weren't always accepted. So I hid those things, like Cinder hid her cyborg parts, and instead I tried to be someone I thought would be liked and accepted. But like Cinder, I eventually became more comfortable with myself and with expressing myself and being who I truly am. And now I'm proud to be that person, and I never try to hide it. Cinder stands for the idea of embracing who you are and not trying to hide it, and the idea that being different than others doesn't mean being less than others, and that is definitely a deeply meaningful idea to me. Number 3, thinking. Nonfiction for some can be tedious, but where would we be without the truths of our world? What book, text, or reading material have you found yourself referring to when in need of real-world answers? I honestly don't read a whole lot of nonfiction, and there's nothing that I can think of that I keep returning to, so much for being a thinker. But I am constantly utilizing kids' books to help my son learn and understand the world and how it works. I've used books to help teach him the alphabet and how to count and colors and shapes and opposites and emotions and seasons and so many other things. And I especially love the books that can help him understand the experiences that he's going through in his life, like learning how to use the potty, or starting to sleep in a big kid bed, sharing with your friends, staying up past your bedtime, trying new foods. And I've been trying to get him into books about becoming a big brother, but unfortunately so far that's been a bust. We go to the library all the time and we always get books like that that will help him understand what he's going through, or books about things that he's interested in or about things that he's having trouble picking up. So while I may not use books as a learning tool for myself, they have helped so much in teaching my son what he needs to know. Number 4, judging. All work and no play leads to chaotic disorder and anarchy. How do you structure your reading, booktube, and personal life to better use your time? If there's one aspect of the INTJ that fits me to a T, it's the J. I have always thrived on structure and organization and planning. And it's a good thing too, because as a mom, routine is just the foundation of your entire life. And also as a mom, I don't get a whole lot of time to myself, so I need to be smart about how I spend it. I am a writer, I'm trying to write a novel, and my best writing time is in the mornings, so I try to wake up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock every morning so I get hopefully an hour of writing time before my son wakes up for the day. During his nap I often write as well, but I'll also sometimes use that time for booktube stuff. That's when I film my videos. And if I'm just not really feeling either of those things, I will spend that time reading. But evenings are my usual reading time after my son is down for the night. My brain is just, it's done for the day, so I can't do anything productive, so I read. 1 or 2 nights a week I will also do something with my husband, like watch a movie or watch something on Netflix, and 1 night a week our friends come over to play Dungeons and Dragons. Of course it's not a perfect system. Sometimes I just have no self-discipline and I watch way too much YouTube, or I am bored with doing the same thing all the time and I do something like play Skyrim, which I did for a couple hours the other day. It was a lot of fun. I kind of missed that game. But for the most part, that's how I organize my time. That's how I balance what I do have and try to make the most of it. And now we come to the last question, which is the question based on your individual personality type. And I looked at all the questions for all the personality types, and a lot of them were very simple, like what book had a twist ending that surprised you, or what popular book did you think was worth the hype, or what book are you currently reading and why did you pick it up? And then I got to the question for my personality type, which is INTJ. And that question is, you're not in it for the small talk, so let's cut right to the chase. What book captures the idea of what it is to be human? Yeah, my first thought was, this is impossible. There's no way I will ever think of a book that has that much meaning and carries that much weight. But my second thought was the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. This is a fantasy series with many fantastical elements like dragons and prophecies and blood magic and raising the dead. But if you look at the characters themselves, it's really one of the most realistic stories I've ever read, and that is because every single character in the series is flawed. This is not a story that has a hero versus a villain. It's not as simple as black and white, because that's not how the real world is. It's not how we really are. The best example of this is Ned Stark, who starts out as seemingly the hero of the entire thing, but he only sees things in terms of right or wrong. And it is precisely this narrow view that leads him to make terrible mistakes, terrible decisions that have even more terrible consequences for himself and his family. And oh yeah, he kind of starts the war that tears the whole country apart and causes the death of thousands of people. So is he really the hero? And then you have Jaime Lannister, who murdered the king he was sworn to protect and pushed a child out a window to plummet to his death. So he's clearly the bad guy, right? But then you find out why he did those things. And it's not just because he's evil or he likes killing. It's because he was trying to save an entire city and all the innocent people in it. And he was trying to save his family and the one person that he loves in the entire world. So is he really a villain? George R.R. Martin often says that his books are about the human condition, and I think he's absolutely right, because what it is to be human is to be complex. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, we all have regrets, we all perceive the world in a different way, so we do things that might be right for us, but wrong for others. We all have the capacity to do good or to do evil. We are all the heroes of our own stories, but that doesn't mean that we're not the villains in others. And that is why I believe that A Song of Ice and Fire captures what it is to be human. And that is it for the Briggs book tag. Let me know down below what your personality type is. I'm always interested to find other INTJs. I'm going to tag Kaylee from the Enchanted Library, April from April Sarah, and Ashley from Don't Have a Degree in Reading. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. And until next time, happy reading, everybody. Bye-bye. So what do you think, Sebastian? Do you like books?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do they teach you things?
Yeah.
Do you like the Potty book?
Yeah.
Yeah? What does Potty teach us?
Auntie.
Undies? It does teach us that you get to wear undies after you go on the potty.